It is day 167 and I am in the business of doing the hard work and heavy lifting of sourcing and finding, another power slide. Look at that. That would be absolutely perfect. And an abundant supply of water on hand. And you could probably slide down, I reckon, do a flump flip over the hedge into the pool. It's good depth there. But, well, I don't have an audience here, but I do have definitely someone looking there, and perhaps a camera on situ, I'm sure, and add an audience into the mix, and it's definitely going to end up badly. So I'm going to mull that over for a moment longer, and I am going to reflect back to the chance encounter and discovery of the 10 ox sculpture, I'm going to call it, yesterday at Chatachuk Park, the allegorical tale that infused a symbolic representation of an abstract concept through characters and a narrative, let's say. So the bull is the primordial being, and the seeker was the separate self, let's say. I'm going to go with that. And I feel that this came to me at an opportune and apt moment. We started this journey with a sense of adventure and discovery, but for me personally, it was one to find a pathway and purpose in life. And I've left it to, I guess, fate to see where it's taken me. And as perhaps the journey draws towards its closing stages, I feel none the wiser. I don't feel like I have any specific pathway laid and mapped out. So I'm going to reflect upon the 10 stages towards enlightenment, which what the story of finding, catching, taming, riding the bull home is all about. So at the first stage, which most of us sit at, we are on our own in the wilderness. There's no bull around. We're none the wiser as to what's going on. We're just unhappy and unfulfilled and suffering. We all are looking for happiness though, we're seeking, but that happiness comes with conditionality, with caveats, with wanting it to be manifested in the way that we egotistically dictate. And moving on, we see some tracks. Perhaps we are unsatisfied with the way things are, and on some level, we start to search for something greater, something more lasting. The third stage is when you catch a glimpse of the bull, perhaps just that tail, a moment of clarity that sets you off on the pathway to chase that bull, and it's at the point at which your life will change and it will become focused on the pathway towards realization. Then taming that bull, wrestling with it. Anyone who's done any amount of meditation will understand the difficulty with wrestling the mind and keeping it in a compliant and blank state, and how impossible that is. But if you manage it and you manage to tame that bull, and you can ride on it and let it lead you where it wills without trying to command and control it, it'll take you home to rest. There's Sarah chilling out, saying hi. I think she's off, she's had enough. And then once you are at home alone, the bull has gone and disappeared, and you return to that empty circle, which was the one that piqued my interest, where everything has dissolved. Then perhaps you return to source, and maybe you choose to come back as the Buddha did, to help enlighten other people. There's the story. I feel I have done a little bit of research. That was a very brief overview, and possibly Eddie Wu, you're going to have to fact check me and tell me where I've gone wrong, and that will help me no end, because then maybe I will end up to be enlightened. Sarah is off. She don't know why. Lovely day, not too hot. Probably to get something to eat, I reckon, or perhaps buy a bag or a dress. But anyway, as always, no real point to my rant and ramblings, other than I think it was perhaps a little sign to stay on the pathway no matter how far you feel you're on it, because I'm not far on that pathway. And I don't know whether it's something that's reassuring or absolutely earth-shatteringly soul-destroying, is that this enlightenment process can take place in a split second. For some Buddhas it did. It can take perhaps minutes, maybe a whole lifetime. But then we do have to throw the samsaric cycle into the mix and understand the process of reincarnation, and it can take multiple lifetimes. And I think that we probably will be being cycled through the worldly existence until we have completed the 10 stages, and then we can finally return to source and dissolve into absolute nothingness. I do like to go full circle and finish where I started with perhaps that power slide challenge. I think there are loads of water challenges you could do here. I do think this is a great pool, but this is the ramp here. I reckon you could slide down here, and I think you're going to have to make it all the way. So I'm going to say this point here, punch front it off the edge if you're feeling daring, or perhaps just a little dive. There is a bit of danger there. There's a sharp old edge, but you've got like 1.2 meters to dive into. So there we go. What do we think?
Yeah.